Stu, Grandpa Lou, and Dee Dee take the kids to visit a local Renaissance fair at the park. Stu's volunteered to make the dragon, which is hitched to the back of the van. On the way, Grandpa reads the kids a story where the good knight slays a dragon. Dee Dee tells Grandpa to change the ending so the kids won't be scared by the violence. Grandpa begrudgingly changes it, saying the knight kissed a magic frog, demonstrating on Lowell's frog toy made him wish that the dragon would go away. The babies then talk about how great it would to be in fairy tale land, all the knights and horses and magic. Chuckie disagrees, saying there would also be dragons. Phil grabs her little toy frog and kisses it, wishing they were all in fairy tale land. The van approaches the Renaissance fair, and the babies stare in awe at all the knights, princesses, and castles. The baby thinks Phil's wish worked. Chuckie worries again, saying that there's probably a dragon nearby. Dee Dee then gets the kids out of the car and over to the costume shop. Meanwhile, Stu and Grandpa unhitch the dragon from the back of the van and get Grandpa inside at one of the control seats. The fair's manager, Mr. Koch, and his assistant watch with concern as the mechanical dragon bumps into a tree. One side of the costume shop, Tommy has a knight's helmet. Chuckie's dressed as a monk, and the twins are dressed as jesters. Nearby, a joust between two knights begins, and Dee Dee points out the good knight. Dee Dee then decides to go to the stained glass booth. She drops the kids off in the old daycare, but Chuckie sees the mechanical dragon over the fence and starts to panic. The babies go to the front gate of the daycare and get a closer look. See Stu climb into the robot's mouth to join Grandpa at the controls. The babies cry, thinking that Stu is being eaten. Tommy decides to get a good night to help save Stu. Meanwhile, Stu and Grandpa are having trouble driving the dragon around. They keep bumping objects and breaking fences. After the babies escape the daycare, they find the actor playing the good knight practicing drills with his horse. At that moment, the robot dragon is coming towards the jousting area. The actor figures it's time for him to put on a show and gallops towards the robot with his lance drawn. Stu sees the babies in the way and tries to avoid them, but the knight's horse also skids to a stop to avoid the babies, causing the knight to fly forward into a pond. Stu and Grandpa lose control of the dragon and continue smashing through things. To make things worse, the dragon's mouth is stuck closed and they can't get out. Mr. Koch has had enough and calls an associate to help get things under control. The babies aren't sure what to do, but notice a frog hopping away from the pond the knight landed in. They figure it's another magic frog and catch it, so Phil can kiss it and make a wish to save Stu. Once they have it, Phil wishes that Reptar would beat the dragon up. Lowell starts yelling at Phil made a dumb wish, but suddenly a man in a Reptar suit smashes through the wall of the fair's gate. Reptar Man is entering at a birthday party when he was called, and when Mr. Koch explains the situation, he agrees to help out. The babies cheer as Reptar climbs onto the dragon's head and rips it off to free Stu and Grandpa. They manage to get the dragon to come to a halt, which sends Stu flying out of the dragon and into the sandbox. The nearby crowd applauds the performance. Later that day, Mr. Koch seems pleased with the day's events and asks Stu to refine the dragon for next year's fair, wanting the dragon and Reptar to have a rematch. In the van, the babies thank Phil for his help in saving Stu from the dragon. Phil tells them to thank Reptar, who drives off into the sunset in his party supply truck. At Tommy's house, Chuckie blows his nose into Chaz's handkerchief. Stu, having overheard while working on his solar-powered lawnmower, asks Chaz if Chuckie's still congested. Chaz tells Stu that Chuckie is and his condition is getting worse, even though he's tried everything, decongest, herbal remedies, and even chanting, but nothing seemed to work. Chuckie walks up to Spike, who's covered in dandelions, and sneezes them off his face. Phil, Will, and Chuckie all chase after Spike, but poor Chuckie's out of breath and unable to keep up with the twins. Tommy sees this and asks Chuckie what's wrong. Chuckie tells Tommy that because his nose is so stuffy, he has to breathe through his mouth, causing his tongue to dry up and stick to his teeth. Will then interrupts, saying that on hot days she likes to suck the juice out of grasshoppers. Chuckie continues saying his condition won't be so bad if they make his arm hair all crusty. Stu tells Chaz that his new lawnmower is powered by the sun's rays, and on a sunny day like today, he could mow a whole park with it. Chaz tells Stu that while he does like his invention, he asks him if it would be easier to just push it. Dee Dee, who is relaxing in a lounge chair reading a newspaper, has overheard, and tells Chaz that there is an invention in the paper he could use. Chaz asks her what it is, and she tells him that our famous sinus specialist, Dr. Brander, has come up with a device that will clear up even the stuffiest nose. Chuckie's nose is all stuffy and snotty. Chaz then sees Chuckie sneeze into his shirt and decides to at least give the device a try. Later that day, Chaz takes Chuckie to Dr. Brander's office. Dr. Brander introduces herself to Chaz and Chuckie, whom sneezes on her. In her examination room, as Dr. Brander examines Chuckie's nose with a nasal light, Chaz asks her if her invention can help clear Chuckie's sinuses for the allergies. Chuckie then sneezes on Dr. Brander's nasal light and Dr. Brander decides to show them something as she lights off her nasal light. Dr. Brander shows Chaz and Chuckie a lab rat named Cheddar, who's able to smell cheese, run up to it, and eat it. While Chuckie's impressed, Chaz isn't, and tells Dr. Brander that all rats eat cheese. Dr. Brander then tells Chaz that she's going to show him and Chuckie what Cheddar was like before she used her invention, the noserator, on him. She shows him a video of Cheddar being so stuffed up he's unable to smell cheese and all he can do is sneeze. Then after she applied the noserator prototype to him, Cheddar is able to smell again. This time, Chaz is impressed and tells Dr. Brander he'd like to use her noserator on Chuckie. Dr. Brander secures a frightened Chuckie into the noserator, and Chaz tries to calm him down by telling him that the procedure will be over soon. Dr. Brander tells Chaz to stand aside as she pulls the lever, activating the noserator and sending shocks into Chuckie's nasal system, frightening Chuckie in the process. Next day, Tommy's in the backyard watching a caterpillar as it crawls onto his finger. As Chaz talks to Stu, Chuckie says hello to Tommy. Tommy's surprised to hear the way Chuckie sounds, as Chuckie doesn't sound as nasally as he did before. He asks Chuckie why he sounds like that, and Chuckie tells him that Chaz took him to a doctor who had a big spider on his head, made a jump, and this morning, when he woke up, he could breathe through his nose again. Tommy asks Chuckie if things are different from him now, and Chuckie tells him they are. He then asks Tommy what he could do when he breathes in through his nose. Tommy thinks for a minute, then tells Chuckie to try breathing in the flower below them. Chuckie sniffs the flower, then tells Tommy it's giving him a funny feeling in his nose. Tommy tells Chuckie those feelings are called smells. Chuckie asks Tommy if other things have smells as well, and Tommy tells him they do. Chuckie goes over to Tommy's house sniffing whatever he can. He sniffs a cup of tea and finds it smells good. He sniffs some dirty laundry and finds it smells bad. He even smells Spike. He then asks Tommy what else he could smell. Phil and Lil arrive, and Lil asks Tommy and Chuckie what they're doing. Well, Chuckie sniffs Phil and Lil and finds out they smell bad, possibly indicating they may need a diaper change. He asks Tommy what they smell as an embarrassed Phil and Lil stare at Chuckie. Tommy tells Chuckie that's a smell he'll get used to. Tommy, Phil, and Lil and Chuckie chase Spike all over the backyard, and for the first time, Tommy, Phil, and Lil all get tired before Chuckie does. Lil cheers Chuckie on, and Phil tells Tommy he's never seen Chuckie run so fast before. Tommy tells Phil it could be because Chuckie's nose isn't stuffed up anymore. Chuckie catches Spike by his tail, and Spike pulls Chuckie across the yard, causing Chuckie to lose his pants in the process. Chuckie, however, is so happy he caught Spike, he doesn't even care. Later that day, Stu takes the sword-powered lawnmower to the park to test it out. The sun activates it, causing it to run off on its own, and Stu to chase after it. Tommy, Phil, and Lil are all eating snacks in the sandbox, and Chuckie walks up to them and tells them it's a neat day. It smells like blueberries and grandpa feet. Sure enough, a barefoot Lou is behind Chuckie, eating blueberries. Tommy, Phil, and Lil are all impressed, and Lil tells Chuckie that it seems like his nose can smell everything. Chuckie tells her he may not be able to smell everything, but he still thinks his nose is the best ever. So he removes his shoe and smells the inside of it. He, along with Tommy, Phil, and Lil, then overhear Angelica getting a fight. Tommy worries Angelica might be in trouble. Phil then tells Tommy, Chuckie, and Lil that they should see what's going on. A bully is fighting Angelica over a Cynthia doll. Tommy tells the bully to leave Angelica alone as she doesn't have to share her doll with him if she doesn't want to. Bully asks Tommy who can tell him otherwise, and Tommy nervously tells him all the grown-ups in the world. The bully then pushes Tommy down, takes Angelica's doll from her, and buries it in the sand. Chuckie sees this and is angry at the bully for bullying Tommy and Angelica. Tommy tries to tell Chuckie that she should leave, as the bully is too big for them to handle. Chuckie then tells Tommy that the bully may be big. As long as he has his new nose, he isn't afraid of him. As Angelica tries to take Cynthia out, Chuckie talks to the bully. The bully asks him what he wants, and Chuckie tells him he bets he can tell everything he had for lunch, and if he's wrong, the bully can ask Cynthia and their snacks. Angelica's shocked when she hears this, but Chuckie continues, telling the bully that if he's right, he has to leave him and his friends alone. The bully decides to take Chuckie on, and Chuckie asks him to open his mouth. The bully does so, and Chuckie smells pizza, pudding, and apple juice through a straw in the bully's breath. The bully wants nothing to admit Chuckie was right and decides to take Phil and Lil snacks anyways. Phil and Lil are shocked, and Tommy tells the bully he can't go back on his promise. The bully asks him why not, and before he can get Phil and Lil snacks, Chuckie stops him and tells him if he doesn't keep his promise, he'll tell everyone the other thing he had for lunch. The bully denies he ate something else, and Chuckie tells him that unless he's wrong, which he highly doubts he is, the other thing the bully ate was broccoli. The bully gasps. Angelica, Phil, and Lil tease him for it. The bully tells him that he doesn't want to eat the broccoli, but his mom made him. He then tosses Phil and Lil snacks in the sandbox and runs away, groaning angrily and sobbing. Tommy, Phil, and Lil all cheer for Chuckie, and Angelica finds her Cynthia doll. She thanks Chuckie for helping her and asks him if she has to do anything for him in return? Chuckie tells her he doesn't, as it's just great being like him, the best smeller in the world. Next day at Chuckie's house, as Chuckie had his breakfast of milk and oatmeal, the phone rings. Chaz answers it, and Dr. Brander is revealed to be on the other end. She tells him she has bad news. Chaz asks her what it is, and Dr. Brander tells him to come over to her office, bring Chuckie with him. At her office, Dr. Brander shows Chaz and Chuckie that Cheddar's unfortunately stuffed up again as he was before, indicating the effects of the nose ray are unfortunately only temporary. Chaz tears up when he finds out about this, as since Chuckie has been affected by the noserator, which means now pretty soon he'll be unfortunately just as stuffed up again as he was before. Later that day at the park, Chuckie's sitting sadly in the sandbox with Cheddar, who is now in a cage next to him. Tommy walks up to them and says hello to Chuckie. He then asks Chuckie who his new friend is. Chuckie tells Tommy that Dr. Brander gave Cheddar to him as a present, figuring they belong together. Tommy, missing the point, tells Chuckie he's way too big to fit in Cheddar's cage. Chuckie tells Tommy the reason he and Cheddar belong together is because Cheddar's nose is all stuffed up again. Soon the same thing will happen to him again, too. Once that happens, he won't be special anymore. A bully returns, wanting revenge on Chuckie for humiliating him yesterday. He tells Chuckie to sit up so he can kick sand in his face, but Chuckie refuses to move. The bully then sees Cheddar and pushes Tommy down to get him. Chuckie tells the bully to put Cheddar down, and Cheddar didn't do anything to upset him. The bully refuses, and he and Chuckie fight over Cheddar. Tommy, seeing Chuckie in trouble, decides to help him. He tickles the bully's armpit, causing him to lose his grip on Cheddar's cage. Tommy then tells Chuckie to run away, and they do so together. The bully chases after them through the tunnels and onto a rope bridge. Tommy and Chuckie jump onto the rope bridge, causing the bully to lose his balance. Next, the bully chases them to the swings. Tommy and Chuckie split up around one swing, causing the bully to run into it and get flung about. Tommy and Chuckie then run past an anthill, where Chuckie realizes that his nose is about to get stuffed up again. Tommy tells Chuckie they can't stop running or the bully will catch them. Chuckie runs out of breath and tells Tommy to go on without him, as he's doomed anyways. Tommy tells Chuckie they can't give up now, as he can do great things even with a stuffy nose. Chuckie tells Tommy that without his new nose, he's nobody and it's over for him. Bully catches up to Tommy and Chuckie, and Tommy tries to pull Chuckie out of the way, but Chuckie goes up to sneeze, and suddenly Chuckie sneezes the most powerful sneeze he's ever sneezed at the bully, making the bully fall backwards and land into a fire ant hill, causing the fire ants to crawl into his pants. Fire ants bite the bully's butt, and he runs away crying. Tommy congratulates Chuckie for defeating the bully with his stuffy nose. Chuckie's amazed and tells Tommy that he was right. He can be special even with a stuffy nose. He then tells him that he may not always be able to catch Spike or smell a flower, but he can still live his life the best way any baby with a stuffed nose ever did. He then asks Cheddar if he agrees, and Cheddar squeaks in approval. Carabella then crawls on one of the bars of Cheddar's cage, and Cheddar sneezes off. Chuckie giggles at this.